Hey everyone, so in the video that I made talking about the direction I want to take my channel in, I mentioned that I wanted to do videos about professional tips, for like business and all of that kind of stuff, more lifestyle tips. So today I am making a video talking about 3 of my biggest tips for applying to jobs, being a college student, trying to get out there and networking and all of those crazy, fun, stressful things. So if you're interested in that, let's get started. So my first tip is effort. I know that parents and teachers will say to you, put in effort, 100%, all that kind of crazy stuff, as you're growing up. And yes, it's annoying to hear, but honestly, it is one of the most helpful tips when you're going out and looking for a job. You can't expect to sit behind your computer and, apply to jobs and expect a response. Honestly, that's just not how it works unless you're crazy lucky and have a lot of connections, which I'm going to get to that later. It's just not going to work. You have to go out, do the legwork. So one more thing I want to say about putting in effort. Obviously, if you already have a job, that's fantastic. Put in the effort at that job, because if you're someone who has a job and someone doesn't consider you to put in the amount of work that they desire, or they don't see that you're, really passionate or putting in effort, they're probably not going to give you a recommendation if you ever need it. They're not really going to do favors for you. Okay, so my number 2 tip is just how to apply to jobs. So I know traditionally nowadays everything is done online. You send your resume to a black hole. I have honestly started applying to jobs even though I am about 6 months away from graduating, maybe 7. I just wanted to see what was out there, what the process is like, all of that kind of stuff. So like I said, traditionally you send your resume into a black hole where probably thousands of other people send their resume, and you can't expect to get that job from your resume alone. You have to, let's say, go into the office, you have to send them a snail mail letter, see that person face to face. Face-to-face communication is honestly the most important thing. A lot of times, we're millennials that are looking for jobs right now, and we are dealing with people who are either baby boomers, Gen X. Those people and people in general are going to remember you more when you meet them face to face. You can't just send them an email. Most business people have thousands of emails sitting in their inbox. I have a professor right now who is an adjunct professor. He is a business person, and he goes, I have about 20,000 emails sitting in multiple different email boxes right now. He goes, you send me an email, I'm not going to see it. And he goes, even if I do, he goes, I'm going to think you're a low effort person and that you didn't make the time to come see me in person, and I'm going to disregard it. So, and unfortunately, that's how a lot of business people think. I'm coming from more of a business side of things. I'm an advertising major and I have a minor in entrepreneurship. He's not the first person that I've heard that from. Most business people say emails get ignored immediately. Phone calls also, they show low effort. It's not the way to go about things. Try showing up at the office. Maybe look on that person's LinkedIn, see if they're going to any professional events. You can even try calling their assistant or going into the office and seeing their assistant. I've always been given the tip, make friends with their assistant, go into the office. That is the way to get things done. Be genuinely nice to people. You obviously get more when you're nice and polite than when you are just trying to get something out of someone. Now, I know if you are applying to something that is not in your area, obviously I'm not saying buy a plane ticket, fly there, go to that person's office. If that is the case, try as hard as you can to get something that is similar to face-to-face. So FaceTime, Skype, a phone call. Like I said, call that person's assistant, be super, super nice. Try LinkedIn. LinkedIn is honestly the best service for professionals ever. I recently, and this is why I'm making this video, because I've actually done it for myself and it has worked. I am, like I said, an advertising major, and I know that I am going to have to be applying to jobs. I have to get an internship for the summer, and that is a graduation requirement. So I was honestly just looking around for some information because I am interested in working abroad. I love to travel and I honestly know I need to work, so I thought, why not combine the two? I really love the Italian language and all of that kind of stuff, so I thought, well, why not look up ad agencies in Italy? So what I did is I went on LinkedIn, I searched one of the most popular ad agencies, which is Saatchi & Saatchi, and they happen to have an office in Milan and Rome. So what I did was I sent about 40 LinkedIn connection messages to people that work at Saatchi in Rome and Saatchi in Milan. And I said something simple because I had to keep it under 140 characters. I said, hello, I'm an American student. I'm interested in working abroad. I speak French and I'm learning Italian. I was just curious if you have any information as to how to go about that or if it's even possible. Thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. That was the gist of it. Always be polite and somewhat formal. I know you only have 140 characters in that kind of situation, but I honestly didn't expect very much to come out of it. Obviously, I was hoping I would get some information, and then a couple days later, I happened to get a message from the art director at Saatchi in Milan, and he said, yes, being a mother tongue in English is very, very helpful. I would suggest sending your resume to our HR department. And I was like, wow, like that is fantastic news. I didn't think that that was an option for me since I don't speak Italian fluently right now. Yeah, and to hear that was great news. So a few more days went by. I didn't get any more messages. I figured, okay, well, you know, that's probably the only message I'm gonna get, and that's fine. So yesterday, I happened to get an email from a woman from Saatchi, also in Milan. She's the social media director, and she said, hey, great that you're interested, you know, in working abroad. She goes, send me your resume and I will forward it to our HR manager. And I was like, oh my goodness. She's like, I'm looking for an intern. So I naturally like freaked out. I'm like, wow, this is so lucky. I need an internship. This is great. So obviously digital communication can work if you're communicating to someone who you can't visit in person. Obviously, I'm gonna try and get maybe like a Skype session with her or a FaceTime, just so we can have that face-to-face communication, because like I said, that's very important. But yeah, so honestly, I'm not just preaching these things, they do work. Yeah. Okay, so my third tip is network. Network. It is so important. And I'm not gonna lie, getting your first few professional connections can be hard, especially if you're introverted or, you know, it always feels kind of funny when you're a millennial and you're trying to get connections with people who are way older than you, and I completely understand that. However, it is so important because those are the people that are going to be giving you jobs, advice, mentorship possibly if you're looking for that. So my first tip is make friends with your professors. I think that's first and most important because they're going to know they're going to know people in the industry, they're going to know events happening in the area, all of that kind of stuff. So they are probably my number one resource to go to when I need advice. My second tip is to go to professional networking events. So hopefully your college or university is in an area that does these professional events more often than not. There have been a few in my area and I have gone to one, and I have made a few connections, very promising. You should have a business card no matter what year you are in school, because having a business card helps that person remember you. How do you find out about these professional networking events? I'm gonna say finding out about the events is probably the hardest part. I would say, like I said, go to your professors. If you have any professional connections, I would say ask them or look down their LinkedIn and see if they have any information that they're like registered for something like that. Google networking events in whatever city you're in on Google. Those are honestly like my best tips. If anyone else knows any other ways to find these networking events, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know. I'm always trying to find more of these events happening because that's where I meet a lot of people. They are honestly fantastic. You can make 10 connections in a few hours, and you would never have probably met these people otherwise. So yeah. Also, another tip I recommend is hang out in areas in your city where you know a lot of business people hang out. So for me, that happens to be in the downtown area. We have like a little, it's called Soho, you know, it's like an area where there's a lot of restaurants, a lot of the business people will go there after work, and just try talking to people. If that person looks like they would be, you know, open to having a conversation with you, talk to them, see what industry they're in. Honestly, talking to people is really the only way to make professional connections, and I know it's super, super hard. It's hard for me. I am not naturally extroverted, but you as a student are non-intimidating. So make the connections now, because once you're not a student anymore, that person is not going to be as willing to help you out. So definitely use that student title to your advantage. Say, hey, I'm a student, I'm looking for advice, anything like that. People are normally going to be super, super nice to you and willing to help. So my last tip about networking is if you are at a university, they will almost always have smaller networking events on campus. So I always get emails from different departments on campus. I'm a mass communication student and a business student. And I get emails from my business school all the time saying, hey, this company's going to be on campus. Hey, come at this time, meet this company. So recently they've had companies on campus like Chase, Deloitte, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. They're a financial company. Let's see, who else has been on campus? Wells Fargo has been on campus. So that doesn't really apply to me as much, but if you want to make connections, that's really great because you never know. Like, just because someone's in the financial sector of business doesn't mean they don't know people who are in, for my case, advertising or entrepreneurship. So go to those events, dress nice, always be professional and polite, and yeah. So that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And leave any comments down below if you have any other tips for being successful in business. Obviously, I'm coming more from like a business, mass communications point of view. If you have anything maybe for engineers or teachers, anything like that, let me know. I'd be really interested to hear them. Obviously, I don't know how to communicate with those people. So yeah. I will have another video that's following up this video, and it's very closely related, and I hope you guys enjoy that. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye.